Today, I wanted to answer the question, is it bad to care what others think? And the short answer is no, it's not a bad thing to care what others think. It's good to value the opinions of those around you and those close to you. And it's good to accept good and wise advice from others. Caring what others think becomes a bad thing, however, whenever it matters more to us than what God thinks. I'll share an example, and story time. At my church's youth group, every Wednesday night, 30 minutes before our youth night starts, all the pastors, youth leaders, and students who are there early gather together to do open mic prayer for the night. And a few years ago, as an introverted student who had just started coming to this youth group, I would be in the room and I was down to pray, to myself, silently, while I stood up against the wall, because a brother was not trying to go grab the mic and pray in front of that many people. But one night, I think it was like my fourth night coming to this youth group, I was in prayer and I felt like God was like, why don't you go grab the mic? Why don't you pray out loud this time? And I was like, are you sure, God? Like, what if I mess up? What if I forget what I was gonna say? But after some pondering, I opened my eyes and there was the mic right in the middle of the room, sitting on top of our foosball table, waiting for someone to grab it. And so I started to walk forward. But as I started to walk forward, I noticed someone else also starting to walk forward. And so I was like, no, you go ahead. And I happily stepped back because maybe God didn't want me to pray after all. Maybe he just wanted to see if I would. And so I just figured I wasn't praying that night. But then after a few people had prayed some really powerful prayers, I felt a tap on my shoulder. And when I opened my eyes, one of my youth leaders had the mic in her hand. And she said that she had seen that I started to walk up, and she asked if I wanted to pray. Well, I guess God did want me to pray after all. And so I took the mic, I was so nervous, I was on the spot, and I began to pray. And I really don't remember a whole lot of what I prayed, but what I do remember is that I sounded very nervous. I forgot a lot of things I had wanted to say, and when I finished, I thought that had to be the worst prayer anyone had prayed there. And as the night went on, I kept feeling really bad about messing up during my prayer, that it didn't go as well as I wanted it to. And I found myself wanting someone to come up and be like, hey, you did a good job praying tonight, because I was feeling so bad about it. But as I was sitting in my seat during service, still thinking about it, and thinking about what people must have thought, how I wasn't good at speaking in front of people, praying in front of people, I felt God saying to me, who were you doing it for? Were you praying for them or for me? And I realized that whenever I prayed, I was doing it for God. I just wanted to pray because I felt like that's what he told me to do. But my insecurities were making it about me. And I cared so much about what other people thought that I wasn't even focused on what God thought. God didn't care that I messed up. God didn't care if I sounded nervous. He just cared that I was obedient and that I listened and that I prayed. And that's all that mattered to him. And when I turned my focus to valuing what God thought, instead of valuing what I thought others might be thinking, that helped me feel a lot better, and my perspective was quickly changed. And so I wanted to encourage you. It's okay to care what others think, but don't let it become more important to you than what God thinks. Galatians 1 verse 10 says, am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. So I ask you, who are you doing it for? Whose approval are you trying to win? Do you care what others think most, or do you care what God thinks most? And these questions have really helped me change my perspective, and they've helped me overcome insecurity. Something that's helped me with overcoming insecurity and with caring what others think is this: living from what God says instead of for what others might think destroys the insecurity inside of us. And so I encourage you, value what God says most, and then value people's opinion that aligns with that. Know what God says about you and live from that, and you won't be trying to win the approval of man, and it won't be what matters most to you. And so I hope these things help you like they've helped me, and I hope this video encourages you today. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Jordan. Follow for more Christian content.